Lying on my resume is the best decision I ever made. Here on a bit of a secret account cause I don't want this associated with my actual socials. I am a person who jumps from job to job a lot. I rarely stay at a place longer than a year because why get a 25-cent raise from a job when you can go somewhere else and earn $2 more? Plus I don't like when places get too comfortable having me around. I also have the fortune of having worked at a place that is now closed down. Ever since an interviewer made a comment about the amount of places I've worked at, I changed my resume around. Now instead of 8 jobs in the last 8 years, I have worked at my first job for a year in the closed place for 6 and my current job for 1. Any extra years in the future will be added to the closed place. Applied to a high-end place with this resume and they were impressed with my commitment to working at this one place for so many years even through the pandemic, and I said I want another place I can spend that kind of time in. Got offered the job that day. Going to lie on my resume forever. Be my reference. Unfortunately, this is just kind of where we are at this point. Always lie on your resume, man. They're lying about job descriptions, compensation, ideology, and being a family, so you might as well omit and change the facts too. It never hurts to have one friend somewhere in the world who's got a corporate phone number and isn't afraid to lie about your work experience. You could be a former VP of Pacific Northwest Distribution, or the manager of 2,200 employees in 8 warehouses. If you have the right friend. If they Googled the company, wouldn't they notice that it closed years before you finished working there? Or is that something they're unlikely to do? If there's one lesson to learn, it's that sometimes telling the truth is fatal. There's another way around that for anyone who is interested and can't claim a company that went out of business. On your resume, enter it like this. Title: 20 million 2010. All YRS. Name of business. City. Name of business. City, etc., etc. Job description of duties. And don't list the individual phone numbers. List the corporate HR-S only. So it would look like charge nurse. 20 million 2023 Frontier MNGMNT. Austin. XXX Homes. Cedar Park. YYYMNGMNT. Austin. Job duties list. That way your years are combined to look longer and your companies are listed. And I list the company corporate HR hash so they don't call the actual place and give a BS review. This wouldn't work in my case. Most jobs I've ever held require you to provide some sort of verification that you've worked where you claim you've worked. Letter of employment. Or a redacted record of employment. Plus, in a case where a place closed down, that's very easy to figure out. Hey, this place closed 5 years ago, yet op just left. I took a class in college on interviewing and resume writing. The teacher was a lawyer and he said, you can write whatever you want on your resume as long as you are prepared to discuss it in the interview and understand that it may be investigated further. Got my first executive chef job by stretching the truth. Been an executive chef ever since. I realized when hiring people, resumes rarely lined up with actual performance at the job. I knew I could do the job, so I just gave people the resume they wanted. I've had friends list me as an old boss from places as a reference and it's gotten them jobs multiple times. Lol. Why get a 25C raise from a job when you can go somewhere else and get $2 more? IDK man. I think you might have discovered the answer to this question. Not that this is right, or that a person's employment history matters the way they pretend it does. Just based on your own experience. The break-even time in a job to remain employable looks to be more than a year. I want to know what happens if you extend it to 18 months or 2 years. There's an equilibrium point in there somewhere. If they are going to lie on the job announcements, then it is only fair to lie on your resume. There was 1 year where I left a job, spent a few months unemployed, worked another job for a few months, and then spent the rest of the year unemployed. I wasn't getting interviews, and the first thing everyone asked about was the gaps. No one was willing to take a chance on me, so I decided to leave off the job between both gaps to make it look like a longer career break. Immediately started getting interviews and landed a job within a couple weeks. I know it's not a big lie, but it really helped. The sad reality is companies don't care about actual experience and skills. They just want someone who looks good on paper. And job hopping is seen as a bad thing for some reason. And if you ever feel uncomfortable lying on your resume, remember that companies lie to employees all the time. My man here playing the game with peak ability. From moving around a lot as a kid, especially in high school, a lot of my credits didn't transfer to the school I would have graduated from. As a result, I was more or less forced to get a GED. Or have an extra senior year plus summer school. No thanks. I already did all the goddamn work. I am not doing it again. So that I could go to college. As a result, I have a GED. Which most places frown upon. But I shouldn't have to tell my life story to justify anything about my education. My resume says XXXXX high school class of 2000. Didn't say anything about graduating or a diploma. And I was the class of 2000. Employers will often fill in the blanks themselves and make the exact assumption you want them to. Win-win. I ended up working for the same company, different ownership and management, 3 times over the course of 8 years or so. The place closed permanently, and that whole period became one job on my resume. You probably will have to adapt something in the future, but the generic strategy is good. I myself do something different, but I actually want to find a place where to spend my time for years. I'm justifying my job hopping with the excuse, which is true 100%, that they lied about my real role and activities, and I'm not stopping job hopping until I find the employer who doesn't lie. And once I find it, I intend to stay for years because I like the mutual commitment to grow. I can see in HR faces the shock, but they understand it, and my experience justifies any pretenses on my side. I'm not telling them that I do mostly for the money, because job hopping results in incredible high raises. Years ago, I was constantly helping my friend with his resume because he was constantly changing jobs. To be brutally honest, he just hated to work and would rather stay at home playing video games. His mother let him live there rent-free and fed him, so his living expenses were pretty much nothing. He wasn't a bum, funny enough, as he was extremely hardworking and diligent, and his mother preferred having him around because he maintained the house and helped her a lot. And his friends always supported him because he was always first in line whenever any of us asked for help. He job hopped all the time because he just couldn't stay motivated unless he enjoyed the work. His favorite job was at a landscaping company, but his employers were problematic and he left. When working on his work history, we always maintained 2 sets of records: the actual places and dates he worked and what we would actually report to a prospective employer. I was his mob accountant, essentially. One of my old managers told me he lied on his resume about having managerial experience to get a managerial job. He said by the time they find out you lied, you'll have all the experience you need.
If you enjoyed this video, Please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.